Within the first minutes of May 25th, 2024, the late-night stream goes live. What begins as an amateurish and dull broadcast with less than a dozen viewers, unexpectedly, over the course of the night, reaches many esoteric and darker corners of the internet. It peaks at over 10,000 viewers. Secondary recordings of the stream exist, but there's a debate on both the authenticity and the explanation around the following events that are ongoing. At first, the operator gives viewers time to join as he checks his setup and confirms his working. Typing can be heard over the sound of heavy rain on a metal roof. The camera is pointed directly upwards at a dim ceiling light. At 12:10 a.m., the broadcast begins proper when the camera pans around the security room and is tilted up and down. The motion is smooth. Either out of shyness or desire for continued anonymity, he is careful not to reveal his face. His opening words are light and timid. He will gradually speak with more confidence as the long night wears on. Okay, test. You hearing me? Looks like, yeah, chat says yeah. Alright, cool. Well, there aren't many watching yet, so I'll start things slow and see if we get some numbers. Still, not bad for a first-time live streamer, maybe. I normally think this form of entertainment is stupid, but what the heck. It kind of feels like I've gotten to know a few of you over the last couple of weeks. So, I don't have much of a rig going on here. No lights, no external mic, but I do have a gimbal, so it should look nice for everyone at least. I'll stay in landscape. Can you hear the rain? It's a little scary out there. News is warning that there could be a flash flood in the area. No worries though, the building is up on a mound. Worst case, I get my own island for the night. Oh yeah, so might be in my own head here. Maybe I should have loosened up with a few drinks first. Anyway, this is the security room where the magic happens. He pans the camera to show the monitors that surveil the warehouse. I know you guys want to see me crack open Greg's locker, but that'll be in a bit. Hoping to get like 30 people watching first. We'll start with that tour of the building. It won't be that exciting, but, you know, I figured some of you might want to see what occupies the space where Sleepy Pines is, and its many stories and memories that once existed here. So fun fact, I compared satellite photos and mapping out the contributions and coordinations, and it turns out that my office here sits at about where the mall's main entrance marquee used to be. The warehouse is also about 20 feet higher up than the mall was. No one else seems to be joining yet, so I guess we'll get started. He proceeds down the stairs and walks the building, throwing up minimal commentary as he gets the documentary-style footage of the sorting machines and endless shelves of various bulk projects. To any outsider, this would be very uninteresting, but for Sleepy Pines enthusiasts, there is subdued excitement around simply getting to see what exists where an infamous shopping mall once was. The chat is buzzing with Dead Mall's memes and trivia. By 12:30, he arrives at the rear corridor, where the security cameras have been tampered with. He slows down his movement, giving the viewers a chance to inspect the area for themselves, and perhaps see something he's missed. Nothing stands out to the audience, and he soon arrives at the shelves that were just out of view of the camera, that only monitored the area. Here's where the dirt incident happened. No evidence left of the soil. I read some theories that maybe there's a hidden entrance or something here, like into the shelves or between them. That's kind of out there, guys, but I did check around. Well, as you can see, it's all pretty solid and crowded with heavy bags of mulch and dirt. He jostles the stacked metal for a moment and then walks around the large tower of gardening supplies. You can barely see it, but these shelves surround one of our load-bearing columns. Just concrete and rebar back there. I already spent a few hours looking around the spot, just trying to find some reason for the hijacked cams, but I've come up with nothing. Moving on, here's something you all want to see. One sec. He switches to the IR lens attachment, painting the world in mostly blue colors and purples, a few warmer regions in dark red as well. The crew was just here yesterday and scraped away all the mold, but I can't show you any of that. If I dial up the sensitivity like this, though, there, now you can see the hot dust still floating around. If the bits rate isn't crap, like I said, this dust is everywhere, wafting through the building. I don't have this problem with the infrared camera at home. What do you think it is? I reread some of the comments last night and was reminded about, what is this, dust or spores or whatever, was in the air at Sleepy Pines, only no one noticed because IR tech was too expensive for those people. And there are some theories that maybe the mold is actually that stuff on the walls in the original Dead Mall story. You know, that can, what's the word, like transmute matter to the point where it reverts a place into what it was in the past. I don't know, without a totem, like a real one, shaped by a true believer, He trails off, then returns to the camera to check his feed. Okay, cool. We got some more viewers, I guess. I guess we can get into opening Greg's locker. When we find, like, weird sex toys in there or something, we'll all have a good laugh, and I'll wind things down. I still have a job to do, after all, and following some distant thunder, the lights in the building flicker and go off. He keeps still and quiet as the dim glow of the backup lamps appear, though it's too dark for the phone camera to pick up anything but specks of light. Almost gave me a heart attack. Only a storm for those just joining. I'll check the circuit breaker while I'm back here, but we'll probably have to wait for the lights to come back. I'm not opening that locker in the dark. Hold on. The glow of his phone lights up the breaker box, which he opens with a key. He checks the large array of switches, remaining calm throughout. A few of those in the chat seem to be genuinely concerned, but most simply laugh off the power outage as a nice little boost to the stream's spooky factor. Well, doesn't look like anything flipped, but you can see the crazy number of circuits you need to run a place like this. Oh wait, this last switch is tripped. He shines his light on the label of the switch in the lower right corner and hesitates. Apparently it's disused. Don't know what that's about, so not going to be touching it. Alright, back to the office. He shuts and locks the breaker box and continues on, now lighting the way with his dedicated flashlight. The camera only picks up shapes and shadows that the beam illuminates, making for an eerie journey back to the comfort of the monitor room. Our host doesn't seem bothered, but some of the chat members, whether role-playing or not, are getting a little uneasy. Used to be, they'd shut off most of the lights in the warehouse after dark. Now, most places don't bother. It's all LEDs anyway, cheap to run, and they last... You hear that? He whispers sharply all of a sudden, and swings the phone and flashlight around, back towards the rear corridor. Nothing is audible on the stream. No. None of you? Damn. I definitely heard something. He looks around a few moments longer before resuming his trek, now with a speedier gait. The chat slows to a crawl, as if to keep it quiet for the host's sake. But now, there are over 50 watchers, probably still mostly from the Dead Mall subreddit where the stream was announced. After navigating around and between hundreds of tall shelves in the dark, the lights come back on, just as he reaches the stairs. A sigh of relief is heard. Whew. And they're back. I didn't plan any of that, by the way. He goes up the steps and surveys the warehouse from above for a bit. Don't see anyone or anything moving out there. Let's be sure. For the next 10 minutes of the stream, nothing remarkable happens. Our host and his audience spend some of this time looking at the camera feeds after he runs a post-reboot systems check. Everything appears to be normal, likely to be disappointing to the few watchers. Finally, just before 1 in the morning, he gets on with the show by fetching a hefty pair of bolt cutters from the tool track. Okay, sorry about the delay, but I needed to check out the security system anyway because of the power outage. Let's crack open that locker and see what Greg's been hiding. Back downstairs. On the return trip to the floor, he appears to hear something again, but says nothing. The camera lingers on the warehouse rows, and once more, the phone fails to pick up any audio. He proceeds into the employee lounge, and then into a room full of narrow lockers. Greg's unit is in the back, and doesn't stand out in any way. It's painted in a plain gray, like all the others. As you can see, it hasn't been opened, he tells the audience, and gives the padlock a tug. Now, just to be safe, in case there really is something messed up in there, I'll open it off screen and get a glimpse of the contents first. I also sorta need both hands to use the bolt cutters. The camera's placed on the floor, and the sound of metal getting sheared apart can be heard. The locker door creaks open, and our host is quiet for a long moment, longer than expected. Whatever is inside has taken him off guard. After several more seconds, he lets out a low mutter. Just... what the hell? Guys, you aren't going to... Man, Unable to find the words, he picks up the camera and shows the audience. Packed tightly on the locker's shelves are dozens of clay creations of all sizes. Some are simple, others are intricate, and a few have carvings that depict nothing discernible. Most are small, but several are sizable. Those on the top shelf are the biggest and the most detailed, almost looking like actual art. They're also the only ones that seem to be made of brown clay, instead of the more common light gray. But something is off. They look artificially colored, as if stained. Look at all these, he says, and touches some, knocking one to the floor. And they're just dry? Like, not even baked. What was he doing in his spare time? I assume we stocked clay somewhere, but did he bring these from home? Yeah, I see that, chat. You're all jumped right to totems, but come on. How would he even know about them? It has to be some weird art project. The commentary begins to scroll faster than anyone can read, but at a glance, there's clearly a division between those that think this is all just fake or a setup, or an example of a genuine urge to create idols. It remains unknown if such a desire stems from knowledge of their prior existence, or from a form of psychosis that can arise in certain individuals who spend time on the land. They aren't as serious as the totems in the stories, he continues, while explaining a few and tossing them on the floor, since they're destined for the trash regardless. But these ones on the top shelf, shit, that's gross. You see what's under them, like pools of dried blood, I think. I won't be touching those. If he's been mixing friggin' blood into these clay statues, then I could get, like, hepatitis. Okay, fine. I'll look at one, but not here. If you guys are making me, I don't know, evaluate them, I'm gonna do it right. There's a workbench upstairs. He reluctantly but carefully grabs one of the stained objects and carries it away. Weird-ass old man. Swear to God, if these fluids are blood or something. Upon returning to the viewing deck that connects the monitoring room and where a large windowed office of a vista of the back warehouse, he places the object on the table. After shoving aside equipment that is being repaired, he turns on a lamp and studies the perverse statue. It's the size of a typical flower vase. Well, it feels and sounds hollow, so maybe there's something inside. I read through all the theories about these things, but who knows how they actually work or what they do. So, For science, let's open it up. These engravings don't look all that interesting, but maybe more thought was put into contents. There's something rattling around in here. Using a hammer and several heavy taps, the object breaks apart and its materials spill out onto the table. He zooms in for a closer look, though all there is to see are nail clippings, strands of hair, and a single tooth. Ugh, gross, but I expected worse. That's definitely his hair, so he must be using parts of himself to give meaning or power to this thing. That might be both disturbing and narcissistic. Anyway, I see that a lot of you want me to open up more of the totems. I was planning to end the stream around now, but if you really want me to, I guess we can break open a few of them. He stands up and turns to head back downstairs again, but immediately freezes upon noticing a sudden change in the warehouse. It's now bathed in darkness. All of the lights past the nearest few rows of shelves have gone out. What the hell? When did that happen? I didn't hear any thunder. The audience watches as another section of lights flickers, dims, and goes out. It's as if a growing void is encroaching on the last illuminated area in the large building. The host, though perturbed, still doesn't panic. Okay, that's not normal. I'm gonna check the monitors and see how it started. It's like circuits are going out, one after another. He rushes into the office and narrates to the viewers while he's tapping on the keyboard. Most of the cams are down, rewinding. See that? The lights begin shutting off like a few minutes ago. Starts from the back, spreads fast, and slows down. Yeah, screw this. I'm leaving. I mean, if I can. He switches to the external cameras, and they show him the bad news. Under the pouring rain, the outdoor lights reflect against a growing sea of water. Shit. Am I trapped? 2 more interior cameras lose their connection, and he leaves the room to update us on the warehouse. The darkness is coming closer, swallowing the light as swaths of LED tubes go dead. He doesn't budge from the perceived safety of the second floor observation area. No, these are not special effects or me setting off timers or some shit. This is really happening. And now I'm marooned. Tell me I didn't do this. That totem was pathetic. Me breaking it didn't cause this. He picks up one of the landline phones, but no dial tone is heard. Of course. I'm ending the stream to call for rescue. I'll try. All the remaining bulbs go out. The video feed becomes flat black. Not even emergency or backup lights can be seen in the abyss. After several seconds of breathing, things resume in infrared. Our host approaches the glass for a closer look. What he sees out there is a chasm with no lights visible to the eye. It's chilling in several ways. The walls, the floor, the ceilings are covered in a dark purple, showing that they're cold. Even the shelves and inventory have retained some ambient heat. What's more, the building now has a rough cave-like structure, as if coated by a rugged material. At the same time, the dust is hotter than ever and eerily suspended in the air, unmoving. He stares as his camera does, unsure of what to say. The only sound is heavy breathing. We watch as the miasma of mutagenic dust throughout the building begins to glow like a field of stars, hotter and hotter, nearly blinding the infrared sensors. For one small moment, it's quiet. Then, without warning, the dust rockets in all directions, slamming into the ceiling, the walls, the floor, everything in between, pelting the viewing window as well. The specks move with so much velocity that their scattering is only captured on 2 frames of video. It's unknown what happens immediately afterwards. It sounds like a powerful shock wave hits our host, but there's no shattering glass. Whatever he's struck by, we hear him hit the floor with a thud, and the stream goes offline for a few seconds after the dust activated in whatever way it did. The chat window explodes with reactions, and the viewers swarm the thread for the stream to continue their debates and concerns. Some still say it's an elaborate prank, maybe even shot on a sabotaged soundstage against a green screen. But that wouldn't account for the fact that there is flooding in the area, and when the leaked numbers for the security desk phone is tried by previous users, they only reach a dead line. While waiting for the stream to come back, or any response from the guy who has become the new major player in the Sleepy Pines saga, the story spreads like wildfire around the Dead Malls community and a bit beyond, though given the late hour, its power to attract the uninitiated masses is muted. What's good to see is that while many want answers and beg for more videos, many more send their well wishes and hope for the streamer. Efforts are made to contact the nearest rescue crew, but the flooding has knocked out a bridge and even further isolating the already rural corner of the state. A silver lining emerges when newer forecasts show the rain starting to dissipate, although better weather won't be much for our friend if he's already met with a strange, unique, terrifying fate, or if the building has collapsed from the fully activated totem, which was quickly becoming the lead theory in this occurrence. But from where, and by whom, is unknown. After 93 minutes of anxiety and getting friends to wake up and join in the event, the stream miraculously resumes. The video is lower in quality and drops frames often, but it remains decent enough. Our survivor continues from the monitor room, lit only by the backdrop of light. Notably, from here out, he mostly speaks in whispers. Some copies of the recording have incorporated AI to enhance his voice. Is it going through? How's the picture? Wow, you're all flooding back. Sorry to worry everyone. I didn't black out, or maybe I did. It's more like I've lost time, about an hour and a half. I guess that's just a symptom of this sort of thing, isn't it? Like when the Sleepy Pines girl was in the washing machine and... Never mind, I got knocked off my feet, and then next thing I know, I checked the time, and, well, as you can see, the power is out. So, no cameras, but maybe mine are still out there. Well, no Wi-Fi either. Hoping my cell connection holds out. I've been hiding here, working up the nerve to go into the warehouse and see what's happened to it. And, try to find an exit. I think I can do it if you're all with me. It's weird. You aren't here in person, but it's still like I have a personal army at my command. Jesus, there are thousands of viewers now. With that, he stays fairly quiet for a while, letting the viewers experience what's ahead without unneeded commentary. The journey speaks for itself, and he seems to know this in advance. For those who spent years drawn in and captivated by the mystery of Sleepy Pines, the land, the totems, and their belief-fueled power, and what it all meant, this night is already proving to be a holy grail of an event. And the chat box reflects the solemn solidarity. Despite the thousands of viewers, texts usually scroll by slowly. He returns to the viewing booth and picks up the biggest flashlight he can find, which he uses to send a revealing beam into the darkness. The observation area has been spared from the transformation effects of the black matter, but outside, past the thick particles of dark dust, now easily visible even without the infrared camera, is a jungle of amalgamized corruption where time and space have imploded into a fractal-shaped mess of geometry that vaguely resembles gnarled tree roots, with limbs that terminate in objects and samplings of a place from the past. At this distance, it's difficult to make out finer details, but it's certainly clear that the warehouse is now without definition. Our intrepid explorer breathes in and leaves the room, grabbing a crowbar on the way out. for anything potentially crawling around. The totems have the ability to create hollow mimics of living beings, at least for a brief time, and the extent of their behavior and potential for hostility isn't fully known. Upon reaching the ground floor, he looks for any available way out, but the intelligent eruption of black matter has covered all the doors. He seems to be left with no choice but to head to the back, all the way to the end of the building on its other side.
Good evening, everyone. It's me, Dr. Plague. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you think you might like a little more spooky in your life, then please feel free to click on one of the videos we have up here. Maybe look at one of the playlists if you're trying to get caught up. I know, there's so many videos on the channel. There's so many series that are going at the same time. Sometimes you just need a little refresher course, and I gotta say, I always enjoy the views. If you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We upload a lot on this channel, so you won't want to miss a single story as they come out. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon link down there. There's quite a few books in my Amazon account. You can have a look, and if you'd like a signed copy, get up with me through email, and I'll be happy to work something out with you. Also, there's links to my Patreon, and you can become a member on the channel if you'd like your spooky a little bit early. Patrons and members on the $5 tier get their videos 12 hours early. That's in the morning, as opposed to in the evening. Patrons at the $10 level also get a signed copy of my book anytime I write one. Speaking of my patrons, you should see them appearing right now. Just wanted to take a minute to say how much I appreciate all of you. Patrons, subscribers, however you give to the channel. I really appreciate everything you do, and it truly touches me that you have chosen to support the channel in this way. Well, that's enough for now. Till next time, Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.